I'm going to show y'all how to massively abuse land by overgrazing it, because I've done that here this winter. That was not an agricultural choice. A dear friend of mine lost her home, and while she was moving around trying to get another home she could settle in, which she now has, I took all her horses and cattle over here to graze. And so I wouldn't do this as land management. I would do this as a gift to a beloved human. But what you're looking at here, all these tall plants, okay, horses will not eat those, cattle will not eat those. I wouldn't even bet goats would, but they might. So that's why they're there. This is all brutally overgrazed. A lot of it looks like this, which is just grazed down, to nothing. No thicker, no. This is giant ragweed. If I leave that there, it'll be 8 feet tall before autumn. And we're standing in a nearly pure stand of it here. If I left this be, that's a cow. She still lives here. She's one. We had we had 2 percherons, and then later 1 percheron, a big saddle horse, a pony, middle-sized saddle horse, and at the peak 3 cows, counting this one over here grazing. This is they were grazing about 5 acres. This side of my property is 10 acres. My whole place is 28, but this side of the road's 10, and they had about half of it since 1st of January. So all that out there that's a brighter color of green, that's all ragweed. This is almost all ragweed. That's ragweed. All this is ragweed. I think this one is goldenrod, and goldenrod's not a bad plant, but you can't let it have your whole farm, so it needs to be pushed back into the fence rows. By mowing these things, this is ragweed here. Here's another good stand of ragweed. There. Okay. By mowing all these ragweeds, they won't get 8 feet tall. And then the grass that's currently under them will have an opportunity to grow. And there will be other things besides grasses. I'll still have goldenrod out here. I'll have a few other things out here. I don't try to get a pure stand of anything. All these, this was a tree. They ate all the bark off of it and then pushed it over. So I'll have to move all this so I can even mow in it. If we were going to have a fully grazing society where we used grazing to manage land, as I use mowing, we would almost have to have nomads, because set stock grazing doesn't work. And I've been on the land almost 40 years, 39 years this year. And I've done 3 or 4 different kinds of rotation grazing. And the problem with rotation grazing is that the grass grows fast in the spring, slowly in the hot summer, medium fast in the autumn, and not at all in the winter. And unless you're going to buy and sell stock continually so that the numbers of animals you have per head, the management gets harder and harder. If you have enough animals to keep up with spring grass, with the spring growth, it is impossible to carry them without damaging the land in midsummer here in Missouri. This is, fairly hot summers and all. But so the ideal way to manage it is that a portion of your society is nomads, and they're herdspeople. And the smallholders don't have fences, except maybe right in their yard where they keep their donkeys or their 1 cow or whatever. But the smallholders welcome the grazers, and the grazers come through and harvest the excess grass and move on, leave fertilizer. That would be an ideal way to work it. Of course, we don't want to use, our imaginations are not very strong, and we can't imagine a life like that. But so here today again, as all my summer films have been is about mowing and land management via mowing. So, just in case you're interested. Well, shit, I thought I was making a video. I guess maybe I wasn't. I'll start all over. Okay, where I'm standing now, the ground between me and the vent track, between me and that concrete, between me and that fence, this is the same ground from earlier in this video that was all weeds. It's not just an illusion that it looks to have been converted from weeds to grass. If you look up close, you see that there was a lot of grass under the weeds. This is one of the thicker stands of ragweed that I showed you, and there's still a lot of grass in here. So what will happen, here's the ragweed back here where I haven't reached. This is giant ragweed or horseweed, and as I said, it'll get 6 to 8 feet tall. If I pick it like it is now, this is one of the things I pick out of my gardens because chickens just love it. So I pick all that I can out of my gardens and feed it to my chickens. But I'm too far from the chicken yard here. And anyway, this is what I leave when I talk about chop and drop mowing. This is what I'm leaving on the ground. And yes, it does shade the grass. Yes, it does slow the immediate regrowth. But as time passes, and I'm not talking a lot of time, I'm talking days, funguses and molds move into that and start to decompose it. Then insects come into it. When I mow, places I mow a lot, I see a lot of shrews scuttling busily through the grass because this process here, the dead grass on the ground, feeds a lot of insects and arthropods, and that's what shrews eat. So out there we've still got a lot. This particular spot here is 2.5 acres probably, I'm guessing. I haven't actually measured it, but it's almost 50-50 grass and weeds, and if I maintain it carefully all summer, I should be able to have it up to 80-20 grass, and half of the remaining 20 be more desirable forbs, things that I welcome better, that do other good, ecological good. On the other side of that fence, that's the neighbor's hayfield. My property ends right there at that fence. And this one up here is another one. It's overgrazed even worse. They were in it before they got in this one, and they didn't even leave any weeds. I mean, they ate it down to nothing. But we'll get it back. They have a home now. They got more ground than they had here, and so they'll be well cared for, and we can restore this. It's, you know, messing with land, restoring land it's what I do. All the ways I can think of: planting, harvesting, and mowing. I can think of no better purpose for me for the years I have left. That right there is a common milkweed. That'll get about hip high on me, 3 feet in that neighborhood. Unless I have a strong reason not to, I will almost always mow around one of those in the pasture. They used to be just common as dirt, but they're so rare now in modern agriculture methods that it's one of the reasons it's so hard for monarchs to survive. It's just not enough habitat. So I almost always will mow around the common milkweed. I have several good patches of them here on the farm.